Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in Wednesday, March the 3rd. That's right. Again, it is March, and I am pumped about it. I'm Gary.
I'm Chris.
And who do we have a lot to discuss today? Hopefully, we're not going to keep you for too terribly long. We did not get to talk on Monday about the Texas booster situation going on with the Eyes of Texas, the what do you call it? It's not the theme song, but
A fight song.
Fight song. There you go.
Fight song.
So,
well, no, and we didn't, but I'm kind of glad we didn't because we have more information now than we did.
this is 100% true.
So I'm really glad we missed it.
Lots to talk about with that. Of course, the Vegas Golden Knights, we were wanting to talk about that on Monday as well. They partnered with a tout, and now they're not. And we're going to talk about why that's right, why that's wrong, all that kind of mess that goes along with it. Taylor jumps in. He said, "Happy Wednesday, fellas." Happy Wednesday to Taylor. Anybody else that wants to jump in, you can do so on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, or Facebook. Knock that out over there. Very easy to do. Actually, I don't think we're on Facebook right now. I don't remember.
I think we are because I just got an alert.
Either way, whether we are or not.
We won't be for long, though, right?
That's correct. That's good.
We are. I'm seeing it now.
Okay. So either way, we won't be on Facebook for long. So all of you on Facebook, make sure that you jump over to YouTube. Now you will get a notification on Facebook every single time that we go live. But yeah, we have got college basketball to discuss. Last night was crazy. The Brown Yeti jumps in, says, "What's up, fellas? Good to see the Yeti in here." Kyle Rudolph is no longer a Minnesota Viking, and there are reports about where he wants to play next.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Very interesting. He's getting a little long in the tooth. He was a little long in the tooth when he re-signed a couple of years ago. But we'll talk about it, of course. And then, of course, Chris has more thoughts on J.J. Watt, which I think every show we could hit on J.J. Watt at this point.
No, it'll go away. So, well, I mean, I think a lot of that's up to J.J., by the way.
Agreed.
I mean, so that's
Michael
Fritz. It's him.
Michael Fritz jumps in, says, "What's up, fellas?" He's on Twitch. Again, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, or Facebook. You can jump in there. Taylor wants to know if we're watching spring training. So I will tell you, yes. My Red Sox are extremely young, and right now baseball doesn't matter, but they're putting up 14 runs a game every day. Yes. And they're giving up nothing pitching-wise. Now, there was a very interesting part about the spring training stuff with the Red Sox. There was a game, I want to say maybe a week ago or less than a week ago, where the coaches went out and ended the inning after 23 pitches for one of their young guys, because you can do like a run rule in the first inning. So in the first inning, he had given up he had done 23 pitches, had given up 3 runs, 6 hits. I mean, it was just absurd. He was not having a good outing.
So the Red Sox Twitter, their official Twitter page, after that inning was patience with us. A lot of home runs. We're working on highlights. It was so many. It was they literally had a delay in trying to get the highlights out on Twitter. And that made me smile. That made me happy. Listen, I know this is not real baseball. Okay. I understand that these guys are not going to come into the league this year and do that, but maybe they will, because I thought the Braves, we didn't intend on talking about baseball, but last year I thought the Braves were a year too early. I didn't expect them to be World Series level good yet. I thought this year would be their year. And I was shocked that, and so many of my friends that are Braves fans were just like, look, dude, these guys are young and athletic, and they don't know they don't belong here yet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hope that the Red Sox can get to that. So we'll see.
Casey said, "Wonder how many people bet Illinois last night, money line." I'm going to guess not a lot. But who knows? Who knows? Obviously, we're going to talk about it. There is much to discuss. First things first, winningcureseverything.com is the website. Go and check it out. Everything that you need to know about us is over there. Everywhere that you need to be subscribed is over there. We have a new show over on SBR that is up today. That is our college football off-season show for week number 7, Lots to discuss in the college football world. All of your college football gambling content can be found over at sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. There is a link in the description below. Go on and check it out. Brian Yiddy said, are we going to have full capacity at ballparks this weekend in Starkville and Oxford? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't believe in Starkville.
I wouldn't hate to see it, though.
I wouldn't hate it either.
I don't know the answer.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, the governor of the state of Mississippi opened up the state. State is fully open. No more mask mandates. No nothing. We are rocking, raring, ready to go. And the state of Texas as well. Governor Greg Abbott over
Texas, there. Obviously gets all the credit and all the publicity because they're Texas and we're Mississippi. Yeah. We are 50th out of everything. Yep. So there's a reason nobody pays attention to us. But if you like college baseball, you damn well start paying attention to Mississippi.
You get that right. Now, Florida, I don't believe ever shut down. And
Florida never shut down. So
South Dakota never shut down. So,
well, yeah. Like Mississippi, nobody really cares about what's going on in South Dakota.
You got that right. You have got that right. All right, let's dive into the first topic of the day, and that would be the Texas boosters and what is going on with all the Freedom of Information Act stuff that came out over the last few days. And the Texas Tribune posted the first article about it, and of course people have jumped on it since. And some of the stuff that was said in the emails from these boosters to the AD, to the school president, to the football team, to the program, whoever was involved, it goes to show why Tom Herman was never going to be able to win there. No. We've talked about this a ton. One, because there's too many cooks in the kitchen at Texas. But it's not just the fact that there are too many cooks in the kitchen. It is that there is a complete philosophical divide between the boosters and the players that can actually win football games.
Yes.
And if you get the boosters out of the way, then maybe you don't have this issue. If you just let the football coach run the program the way that he wants to run it. I've talked about this a ton. What Tom Herman did last year was not embarrassing. That was not an awful football team. They were 3 plays away from being undefeated.
Undefeated. You're right. Yeah, that's right.
So Stephen Godfrey retweeted the article, and he said, Texas, confused as to why they're not Oklahoma, is doing an Ole Miss, themselves confused why they didn't become Alabama all those years ago. Now, what he means by that, Ole Miss was one of the last SEC teams to fully integrate their football team. Alabama did it. They weren't first in the SEC, but they were one of the first. Like Bear Bryant realized, holy crap! Like we're getting killed by USC, and they have integrated. Why am I playing at a disadvantage when we could be doing what they're doing? Like this is insane. What makes them any different from white players, right? So the whole thing is nuts when you read some of these comments and you think about the fact that this is being said today in 2021.
So I knew the boosters were really in touch with the fight song and the traditions of the school and all this stuff. And we have grown up in the South. I've spent a lot of time in the deep South. You've spent a lot of time in the deep South. I know what real racism looks like. Okay. Yes. I understand it and I know what it looks like. I've heard and seen real horrible racist things. I've said and done real racist things that I'm completely not proud of. And it is what it is. I had no idea what was actually said. Read the quote from the guy, and his name was redacted.
Yeah, his name was. There were several of them whose names were redacted. Which I guess is
probably a good thing. His name was redacted because he probably would be hiring private security right now.
Most certainly. The most egregious comment that came out of it was, "It's time for you to put your foot down and make it perfectly clear that the heritage of Texas will not be lost." This donor graduated in 1986.
So he graduated when I was 4 years old.
Yes. He said, "It is sad that it is offending the blacks. As I said before, The blacks are free, and it's time for them to move on to another state where everything is in their favor. There were more people that argued that the black student population at UT Austin is small. Their voices should not outweigh the larger wishes of the alumni base. Said less than 6% of our current student body is black, wrote Larry Wilkinson. He's a donor who graduated in 1970. He is quoting a statistic UT Austin officials have stated they are working to improve. He said, the tail cannot be allowed to wag the dog, and the dog must instead stand up for what is right. Nothing forces those students to attend UT Austin. Encourage them to select an alternate school now.
So, I mean, they're openly saying if these black players don't want to bend the knee or conform to the way we think the world should be, then they should go somewhere else. We don't want them here.
By the way,
that's insane. I know there are people that feel that way in this country still today, but they don't say that shit publicly. And if they do, they put a sheet over their face.
So a lot of people would not say this out in public, right?
No.
However, they reached out, like the Texas Tribune reached out to Larry Wilkinson, and he reiterated his opinion in an interview with him. He said everything in life all comes back to money. He said he did not get a personal response to his email from Hartzell, who is the school president. Yep. He said only a generic message that the song would remain. So the Eyes of Texas it's been the fight song for forever. And we talked about this before, because when Steve Sarkisian was hired there, this is what Sark said. I know this much. The Eyes of Texas is our school song. We are going to sing that song, and we are going to sing it proudly. That's what he said when he got to the school. Now, obviously, I don't think he knows anything about, like, he ain't never even been to Texas.
No, Steve Sarkisian is a California boy who has his head stuck up his ass. Okay,
exactly.
Steve, he doesn't have his head up there. He's got a hand up there. All right.
He knew
he's a puppet. He's going to say what he's told to say because he's really good. That's why he did so well under Saban.
Yeah.
And he did so well under Pete Carroll. If he has a strong leader, he follows orders really well.
Now, the issue right now is that his leaders are these boosters.
Yeah. And that now he's got a different hand up his ass.
Yes. I mean,
it's making him say dumb shit.
If anybody that thought that Sark was going to come in and be able to fix this,
no.
I don't buy it.
Now you got these boosters saying this stuff. What is the transfer portal going to look like at Texas? And I want to see the NCAA argument as to why these kids can't transfer.
Oh, they won't be able to keep.
No, they'll have to, right? You can go wherever you want and you can start tomorrow. Like, we don't care.
Yep,
this is fine. Like, this is insane to me. We've had a conversation back and forth with some of our other friends, and I'm to get a little political, but I feel like it's important to this conversation because it's where we are in the country, in our world today. Okay. I think everywhere you look, people are looking for racism. All right. And they're trying to find it everywhere. And I think they find it everywhere they look. The problem is there are actually really terrible people in this world. These individuals, might I add, I believe are that. And there would be a day and a time where we would call them out and we would say, these are racist.
Yeah.
And we can't stand for this. But that has no meaning anymore. That carries no water anymore because we've just spent the last 8 years of my life that I can remember calling everybody a racist. And so it's never actually been a better time to be a real racist.
It's what's so funny.
It's better than it's ever been. And it's not because Trump gave them credence and something of that nature. There are people that hate Trump and they want to blame all this racism on him. This stuff was going on beforehand and before Trump was even a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And the issue is it's because we begin to call everybody a racist. And now that everyone's a racist, these horrible assholes are no different than someone who's just a conservative or maybe who doesn't like socialism or something of that nature. And now we call everybody a racist. So when you call these guys a racist, That's no different than calling someone else one that's really not one. You just disagree with them on something, and it's easier just to call them a name. So congratulations.
Words have meaning. Words have meaning.
Congratulations. We've taken a horrible word that had a disgusting meaning, and we took it away.
Yeah, we made it.
And now
we
that
made
meaning
it generic.
means nothing.
But there's a reason why this story should be a major national story.
Yes.
And it's only big in college football circles. And the only reason that it's big in college football circles is because it just continues to point out the obvious of why Texas cannot win. This is why they will never.
That's what's sad. Hang on. What? That's ridiculous. The only reason it's a big story is because it's about winning and losing football games at a school, and not these horrible sons of bitches who say hateful ass shit.
Tell me this. If Texas,
openly and publicly.
If Texas were to get rid of, see, Taylor jumps in. First he said, cough, Dr. Seuss, cough. Yeah, there's a lot going on with that.
We're looking for racism in places where there's not one.
Right. But
I believe,
he said,
and this is not making fun of Michelle Obama, okay? I believe Michelle Obama had like a huge Dr. Seuss thing, like while Barack was in office, and I think it's a good thing, by the way.
Yes,
you're talking to a guy that couldn't read real well growing up, and I could read Dr. Seuss, and I liked Dr. Seuss as a child. Like, that's helped millions of children love the read and love creative storytelling.
Yes, that's it. My son and I read Dr. Seuss all the time. Akbar jumps in. He said, "What's up, guys?" Akbar, good to see you in here, buddy. Taylor said that he did not hear about this Texas story until this show,
that's insane. I think that's insane, by the way.
Right, but
in a world where we want to talk, almost every show that I listen to or hear about or follow, at least half the show is about race. Okay, it's always about a race problem. Half of them are legitimate. Half of them are, I think, made up bullshit problems. What I think the Dr. Seuss thing is. Okay, like, and therein lies the problem of is this kind of falls in their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And they still don't want to talk about it. They don't want to actually deal with something hard. They don't want to actually deal with something that's gross or whatever. They just want to cancel something, but you can't cancel a 70-something-year-old billionaire because that guy he's not on Twitter. You can't go yell at him on Twitter.
It's also the irresponsibility of the college football media guys that all just assumed that Tom Herman was fired because he was losing.
That's right.
No, he won 8 games.
And you said that, by the way.
Yeah.
You are the only person in college football media that I've heard say that when he was fired. Before he was fired, you thought that there was a chance he wasn't going to make it through this offseason. And you said it ain't got nothing to do with wins and losses. You said that.
Yeah, because
I didn't
it had
hear
nothing
anybody
to
else
do
saying that.
with, like, if they had gone 11-0, then winning cures everything, right?
That's right.
But you can't go. That's why they have so many discipline issues inside of the program. That's why there's all this infighting going on all the time, because the head coach stood up for his players. That's what the coach is supposed to do.
And he told the alumni, give these guys jobs. And one of the comments from one of these guys, I don't remember all of this stuff, and I'm getting it secondhand through Gary.
This was Caden Stearns is what you're talking about. Told him you're going to have to go to another state.
Well, yeah, but they were talking. But anyway, Herman said you've got to hire these guys. You can't just say Black Lives Matter, and you can't just give money to their programs, and you can't just stop saying racist things. Like, when they get out of your university, you got to give them a damn job, okay?
Yeah,
because that's what you're not doing. You're not getting them to that next level. They've got the degrees and they've got all the accolades to earn their spot, but they're not being given any jobs. Any of these jobs with the alumni, with these people, by the way, but they're just not being selected. And he actually called the boosters out on that. And that was before we ever thought we were going to even have football. Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember. He stood up for his players.
You can say a lot of shit about Tom Herman, but man, I mean, I think the guy's got scruples. Okay, has he ever made mistakes in the past? Sure. Am I going to kill a guy for cheating on his wife at a strip club? So I don't care. I don't know any of that stuff happened, and I don't care if it happened. By the way, I'm not a moralist. I don't judge people for the shit they do in their bedroom.
We don't know if his wife cares.
No, that's right. I don't know. And even if she does, not my pig, not my problem, bro.
Yep.
Okay. Don't get caught. And if you get caught, you got to deal with the consequences. But that's between you and your family, all right? That's your consequence. I don't have to deal with those things. But when you stand up on a platform like he had and he called out, it's easy to point the finger. I say this all the time. It's easy to point the finger at people you hate. When you're calling out the people that employ you, the people that give you your job, the people who you're supposed to kiss their ass, and you're telling them, you have to be better. You have to take care of these kids. Man, that takes balls, and it actually costs him something. Now, it costs him something in a job, but in the world we live in, it ain't cost him anything because he's going to get his whole contract. He's still going to get paid, and, it is what it is.
And now he's off being an assistant in the NFL where he doesn't have to deal with this crap.
No, where he doesn't. And I'll tell you this, I loved Herman. I wanted Herman to take like the UCF job or I would have loved for Herman to have gone to Michigan to take that OC job. Just show up at the door of Harbaugh and say, I don't know what Gaddis is doing, but put him on a bus. Here's a bus ticket. I got it. I'll buy it. Send him on shipping. I'm taking Ohio State down. Me and you, we're doing this. I would have loved to have seen that. I wanted to see him stay in college football. I'm going to tell you, there's a world where he don't come back.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There's a world because he's going to realize, did you see the shit I just had to deal with? I don't deal with that shit in here.
Yeah, I can just coach football in the NFL. Yes,
I can just and if I'm really good, I can be an analyst in the NFL, and they might pay me $1 million a year.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't have to really do anything but X's and O's. I don't even have to I don't have to work one-on-one with the players. I don't have to. Yeah. I can do whatever I want, be as involved or not involved as I want.
Casey, by the way, jumped in. He said, I haven't heard about it either, which is insane to me. I think there's a problem. Crazy. Yeah, there's a problem with it. Birdie said, hello, men. Sark has a chance, in my opinion. He has to close the doors, take ownership, embrace it, and then flip it to us and everyone else and create a family like no other. This could polarize them in a good way. Okay, here's the problem with that.
I agree with that. He could do those things. I don't think he's going to.
No, I don't think he has the capability because I don't think anybody at Texas has the capability to do that. And here's the reason why. Going through this, there were hundreds of alumni and donors that were more concerned with why Ehlinger was alone after the Oklahoma game when he was out there standing for the eyes of Texas by himself, right? All of these people blasted emails to UT Austin President Jay Hartzell. They called the image of the abandoned quarterback disgusting, embarrassing, and disturbing. They demanded that the school stand up to, quote, cancel culture and firmly get behind the song, or else donors were going to walk away. This is one of them. Said, my wife and I have given an endowment in excess of $1 million to athletics. This could very easily be rescinded if things don't drastically change around here. This was another one whose name was redacted, by the way. It said, has everyone become oblivious to who supports athletics? There was another one. It's disgraceful to see the lack of unity and our fiercest competitor, Sam Ehlinger, standing nearly alone. It's symbolic of the disarray of this football program which you inherited. The critical race theory garbage that's been embraced by this football program and the university is doing massive, irreparable damage to our glorious institution and to the country. It has got to stop. Hartzell publicly stated they are going to keep the song, but there were hundreds of emails obtained through public records requests that showed the decision didn't quell the furor among those most ardent supporters of the Eyes of Texas.
They don't want to keep the song. They want to force the other players to stand and sing it.
Yes. From June.
This is where I have a problem.
Let me tell you the numbers.
Keep the damn song. I will tell you this. I'm not a black person. It's pretty obvious. And I understand the hardship as much as a white guy who grew up in Mississippi can understand it. Okay. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. It's sad, but I loved the Ole Miss tradition and the songs, but I remember the melody. I remember the sound of it. I remember how I liked it a lot, and the words don't mean anything to me. I just appreciate the experience and everything that comes with it. And when they stopped doing it, I was like, oh man, I come on. Like, I hate that they're doing that, but I understand.
When you really understand the meaning behind what was going on, because they were playing Dixie before games.
Yes.
And yes, they had done it forever and ever, and it was a tradition. But some traditions are okay to go by the wayside.
That's right.
When they hurt and offend other people.
That's right.
It's okay to get rid of it.
I wasn't able to understand the kind of uncomfortability or pain that brought other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I don't know how I would have been able to do that. I don't know how.
Well, we were young. We had no real way of understanding.
Well, I mean, hell, but no, they just quit playing Dixie like 5 years ago.
No, it's been longer than that.
Has it been?
Oh, yeah. It's been well over a decade.
Once something goes past 5 years, it was all 5 years ago. So.
It's been well over a decade.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. It's been a long time. Been a long time.
I don't remember that.
They did away with Colonel Reb like more than 10 years
ago. I knew Colonel Reb I was fine with. But you know my opinion on mascots, right?
Oh, of course.
This is not a place for children. And so a big grown man in a weird costume, I just don't think is important to the game. But the only reason you have a mascot is to play with kids, right?
Right.
But I do not believe college – this is my opinion, not your opinion. It doesn't have to be everybody. I'm not always right on these things. But I do not believe college campuses are a place for children because there's a whole lot of crazy things going on, grown-up stuff happening on college campuses.
Well,
and I think people who bring their children there are insane, and I will never do it.
There are a lot of people that it is a family environment. My dad started taking me to Alabama games when I was 4 years old.
I know. I know.
So I remember Big Al and the elephant mascot and all that, and I thought he was hilarious. Yeah. So, and I grew up an Alabama fan, partly because of that.
And that's fine.
It's a way to hook
I went to games when I was younger, okay? And I also remember seeing a lot of crazy shit, and I also remember getting into a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
I learned things that my mom probably wish I didn't learn.
Birdie said, laugh my ass off. So true about the mascot. Yeti said, if you look for faults, you will find them, and in doing you make a mountain out of a molehill, but yet the media missed the obvious thing, or worse, ignore it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's what's crazy to me. They're making a big deal out of little things that aren't important.
Let me tell you the numbers.
This is massively important.
Let me tell you the numbers. From June to late October, over 70% of the nearly 300 people who emailed Hartzell's office about the Eyes of Texas demanded that the school keep playing it. Around 75 people in those emails explicitly threatened to stop supporting the school financially, calling on the university to take a heavier hand with students and athletes that they believed were disrespecting university tradition by protesting it. That is an insane number.
This is not these three guys, okay? This is not a few
it's
folks.
All of them.
This is all of them.
Yeah. Here's another quote. The Eyes of Texas is non-negotiable, wrote another graduate who said they've had season tickets since 1990.
I'm not going to force you to change it.
Hold on, listen to this.
I don't like forcing people to do things they don't want to do that don't pertain to their job, okay?
Listen to this. If it is not kept and fully embraced, I will not be donating any additional money to athletics or the university or attending any more events.
But so that's the problem. It's the fully embraced part, right?
It's is it really a loss if these guys are gone?
Well, it's a loss financially, yeah.
It is, but tell me this. With the money that comes in from the Longhorn Network, from the Big 12 deals and whatnot, it's not like they're not going to have Texas football.
This athletic director really could make his life a lot easier to tell these guys, I'm going to side. Now, he has chosen so far to side with the boosters. It would make his life a lot easier if he said, we're going to go this route. We love you and you love Texas. If you can't love the new way Texas is, then I hate losing you as a booster and your support, but we're going to move forward. The issue is what happens to the Longhorn Network? How many of these people are funding that? What happens if viewership goes way down? Because it is a lot of people. It's not just the boosters that feel this way, but it's a large portion of your fan base. The fact that 6% of the population of a school is black and that's it, that seems incredibly small.
Oh, I agree.
I thought when I heard that number, I thought, wow, that's crazy little. Now, maybe my expectation of what percentage of populations are weird. I just felt like when I was at Ole Miss, I thought, it wasn't half, but it was more than 6%. Sure wasn't 6%. I know that. Like I couldn't put a number on it, but it was somewhere between 50 and 6%
is less than half of what the population is in the American population. That's crazy because it's 13%. What I was about to say.
Yeah, the country population is over double that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's insane. Let let's see. It said, while those who emailed represent a fraction of the more than 540,000 UT Austin alumni, their threats had some university fundraisers sounding the alarms. So, of course, a lot of these people's jobs is to fundraise for the university. Right. Texas has a massive endowment anyway. Mm-hmm. It is nuts to me to think about the idea that, because Alabama had this same problem, right? And it wasn't the same problem as this. It wasn't about race or a fight song or anything like that. But it had to do with boosters
running everything.
Yes, and when Saban came in, he completely took over. He said, it's exactly what you talk about all the time. Leave your check, and I promise you will be happy with the results afterwards, but I'm going to handle things from here.
Yeah, leave the checkbook, hit the bricks.
Yeah, Brown Yeti said, what's the Hispanic population of Texas? I have no idea. They didn't put that in here.
I'm going to bet University of Texas. I'm going to bet it's probably bigger than most places in the country, but it's probably not huge.
Bertie said, so many scholarships for other university sports are paid out of that football program. It truly is a lose-lose situation for the kids. Damian jumped in, said, damn LSU. And then Yeti, before that, said, there's a lot of older children doing adult things on campuses. Yeah, he's right about that. He's 100% right. But the idea behind this is...
What's the damn LSU part? What we do?
I have no idea.
LSU's got their own issues. I don't hide from them at all. Yeah. Y'all know that.
I think it had to do with something that you said. I just don't know what it was.
I don't know.
It's Damon. He went to Ole Miss.
I went to Ole Miss. I didn't go to LSU until I was in 10th grade. I think once you're in high school, that's not the children I'm talking about. Okay. I've got, and Gary went when he was 4 years old.
Yeah.
I will tell you this, if I'm hanging out in a college game and I've got a few pops in me and I'm raising some hell and I'm having a good time, I don't want to look down and see a child. I don't, because now I have to change my behavior because of this child, not because what I was doing was inappropriate at all, but it's inappropriate to do in front of a child.
Yes.
Now, I never act like an asshole or a maniac or get crazy at a professional sporting event, because I do believe professional sports should be for everyone. Okay. Everyone, but college sports are not for everyone. You can watch it on TV and you can enjoy it on TV, but when you go on a college campus, that is a place for 18 and over. And if you are going to be thinking about going to college soon, which is 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, it's fine. That's fine. Anything under that, you don't need to be there. There's nothing for you there.
Yes,
it's my opinion.
You're correct. I don't disagree with you. I do think there are spots, like if you don't have to be around the main tailgate area, right? There are spots where you can have children.
I'm sure I'm sure those spots are there. I just don't. I've never been to any of them.
That's it. Yeah, no, I can understand that. But there are spots if you look for them, if you know what you're trying to accomplish during the day and whatnot. Either way, getting back to Texas before we move on to another topic, Taylor, what if you've had a few seltzer beers? That's it. Just ridiculous. So there are going to be people that transfer out of Texas. There are going to be recruits that do not want to come play for Texas. The funniest part about this is the idea that Texas A&M is going to start recruiting kids and negatively recruit Texas, talking about, you see how racist they are over there? It's like, brother, you got the same stuff going on. Like, don't lie.
But it's not just Texas A&M. It's all of the states in the South.
Correct.
Every one of them are going to have this issue and problem. But here's the thing. They're not open about it, and so therefore they will be able to negatively recruit using it.
Right. No, absolutely, which is, I find that hilarious. But it will impact them. It will impact them with recruiting. It will impact them across the board. And it is another reason. Now, Bernie was talking about...
If I was the Big Ten, and if I was... like the Pac-12 schools that are out in more of just not the South, I would be recruiting the hell out of these guys.
Oh, 100%. Ohio State lives in Texas.
Yeah, I know Ohio State does, but I'm talking about the schools that are not Ohio State. Ohio State they're like Alabama. They get almost anybody they want.
Yes.
Okay. I'm talking about your Wisconsins. I'm talking about your Iowas and your Northwesterns and your Michigans and your Rutgers and in Maryland and these other schools. I'm talking about UCLA, all right, or Arizona State. Like, I'm talking about these other places that this guy openly said, go to one of these states that'll take you. Well, those are places that are more accepting of you.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
They just are.
Getting back to what Birdie said about Sark has a chance, in my opinion, he has to close the doors, take ownership, embrace it, and then flip it to us and everyone and create a family like no other. They've tried that so many times.
Yeah, I just don't see that.
I don't know that Sark is a big enough name, a big enough personality, anything to be able to do that. Tom Herman had the personality, he had the stones about him, and he still couldn't keep him out because it's not just the football coach that has that responsibility. That also falls on the AD, and it falls on the school president. And until they get the stones to tell these guys, you know what, if you don't feel like donating to make sure that we have a winning program, then fine. Go give your money somewhere else. We don't care. But we're not going to have you telling us what we can and cannot do at this university. Like that's what's been missing this whole time is because you don't have people in power that are willing to actually lead. And if you don't have that, then the whole power structure is broken.
Yep.
So that's the Alabama situation. It's like this with multiple schools across the region. It's why I found it funny when Ross Bjork went to Texas A&M because the boosters ran amok at Ole Miss. We haven't seen examples of it at A&M yet. I would imagine we will. Or maybe Ross Bjork got tired of being run over by boosters and he wanted to go somewhere with a better power structure. Maybe that's it.
I mean, there's a lot of that. I mean, that could be it. You don't know that. Because those boosters were doing that before Bjork got there.
Exactly. No, the boosters have been doing that at Ole Miss forever.
So Matthew Miller brought up something here, and so he talks about how the story is 3 months old. The reason the story is interesting is because the emails of all of these people got leaked out, and we actually got to see and hear what they actually said, what they put in writing, and what they hit send to. Okay,
that
Matt
Miller,
public documentation,
I talked about
by the way,
when it came out. I talked about it when it came out because I said
we
that
talked
Herman
about it a little bit, but it wasn't nearly as big of a story. Now that we have quotes from emails that are public record.
I told you during the season when they lost to Oklahoma and the odds of Texas thing became a big thing before the season. But I told you even last offseason that I didn't know if Herman was going to survive because of this, because there was a very visible disconnect between the football coach
I want to address
and the
what he
boosters.
said. He said in Texas, they're just getting leaked. These aren't leaked. This is public record. All right. This was Freedom of Information Act pulling things. So the things that they said, they put in writing on a public forum that you can just go get a Freedom of Information, document and get access to. That's not a leak. Okay.
No, that's a FOIA request.
They said this stuff openly and publicly. That's a problem.
Yeah. No, I agree. Birdie jumped in, by the way. It said, well, here, first, Brown Yeti Primetime should go after Texas recruits. It'd be crazy to see Jackson State with some 5 stars. You're not far away from seeing that. I guarantee that'll happen at some point in the next couple of years.
I do. I agree.
Birdie said, that's what I don't know either, Gary. I just don't know Sark. I am new to college football. I trust your take. What a shame for Sark. His tenure will not be about football. It will be political. Pretty unfair, in my opinion. At Texas, football and politics are one and the same. They all go together. It's what made Mac Brown so good at the job.
Sark's not a victim of anything, okay?
No.
Sark had a wheelhouse of a dream job at USC, and he pissed it away. He had a very, very good job at Washington that he was winning at, and he chose to leave on his own accord.
Yeah.
All right? Since pissing this job away outside of his tenure with Alabama, basically being the whipping boy for Nick Saban, Sark has been a failure. Okay? That's just it.
He was in the NFL. Like he got fired after 2 years.
And at USC, it wasn't a failure of winning and losing ball games. It was a character issue. He was drunk on the sideline of a game, of an active game that was being played. So
is that right?
Yes.
I don't think that's.
I think he was drunk.
No,
he was drunk on the sidelines.
No, he was drunk at practice, not at a game. So yeah, it was also at different booster events and whatnot. It became a very regular thing.
But what you do in social events outside of it, I'm going to give guys pass on that. I don't give a shit. Don't serve booze if you don't want guys to get drunk. This is after work.
Agreed.
I don't care about it.
I agree with that.
When he was drunk on the sidelines, now we got a problem. All right. Now this is not a party boy situation. This is you're a drunk. And you've now let it affect your job, which means I have to fire you. So Sark isn't a victim of anything by any means. If he's good and he wins, then great. But they've just made this much more difficult on him than it's going to be.
Matt Miller jumps in. He said, Matt's trying to feud with us today, I see. He said, the emails were leaked months ago. I read them on Inside Texas. Only one of those emails was really bad. I don't know that I agree with that.
I'll disagree with the only one that was really bad.
Brown Yeti, this story is years old. We know this has been going on. It's the media's fault for not writing more than 2 lines about it. Yeah, I mean, it really, like the Charlie Strong stuff, like there was a major issue going on there between the boosters and Charlie Strong. A lot of them did not want him to be the head coach, and they made it very, very, very publicly known, and it was ridiculous then. It's still ridiculous now. Birdie, but he did fail in Atlanta, so, yeah, no, absolutely he did. Matt Miller said Pete Carroll was a failure and Sark was drunk at a banquet at USC. He was also drunk on the sidelines at practice. Okay. And so, but yeah, like at Pete, I don't know that Pete Carroll was a failure. Like Pete
Carroll lost in the NFL his first time around.
But I think he was successful.
I don't know when Pete's been a failure outside of that. His stint at New England.
And even then, he wasn't bad at New England.
No, he wasn't bad at New England. He just missed the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. He still went, 9-7 both years, or 9-7, 8-8?
I think he had a winning record or a high 500 record every year. He just didn't make the playoffs. The team was going through turmoil. They were about to be sold, and they were considering moving to Connecticut. And they had a lot of problems. Pete Carroll just not making the playoffs, not winning enough to hide the problems.
Yeah, Matt Miller jumped in. He said before he got to USC. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you can say that if you want, but sure. Either way, let's jump off of that. We have spent a long time on it, about 35 minutes on that. Let's talk about the Vegas Golden Knights for a minute. It is the Golden Knights, right?
Yeah.
So they partnered with a pick selling company, a tout, if you will. And I don't even remember the name of the company, but
as an official sponsor, by the way,
like
this is not like a weird running. This was the official sponsor. They were the official game picker or whatever of the Golden Knights,
which is absolutely insane to me.
It lasted about a week, right?
Yes, it lasted, which was a week longer than it should have. It should have never.
When it happened, it pissed me off bad.
We've made our opinion on this known on this show for multiple years now. We do not appreciate anybody that tries to sell picks. Yeah. If you have an edge, that's cool. But if you have an edge, then you would not need to sell the picks in order to make a living if you were actually good at it. Yeah. You would just go and bet your picks and do find the sports books where you can get the max bet that's the highest. And if you are winning at a 60% clip or whatever, then you do that. Now, it might be a little different to not necessarily sell picks, but maybe sell information. Like, maybe we can get into a different thing about this, but that's not what this is. That's not what this company was. They were selling picks. They
sell picks.
Like, they would tell you, hey, go bet Texas plus 11 or whatever. Yes. Right, which is insane because by the time you would actually get the pick, the line could be at +9, and then okay, well, do I still take it at +9? Do I, there's all sorts of things that are wrong with it, but the fact that a professional sports organization partnered up with a company that sells picks and would never comment on whether or not they were going to allow the pick company to give out their team in the picks was insane.
Or a team they were playing.
That's nuts to me.
It's insane.
How did this ever get back? Like, I can understand them partnering with BetMGM or DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever.
People that want to gamble, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that or nothing.
Yeah.
People who sell picks, I'm sure there's some guys in here that have paid for picks. Okay, that's fine. If you're in the gambling world, I know people that have paid tout services. That's okay. That's fine.
It is morally and ethically
I am morally
wrong.
Opposed to selling picks.
Yes.
At all. Not just because me and I'm not good enough at winning. If I could win at a 90% clip, I still wouldn't sell them. My argument to people who reach out to me, because it happens all the time on Twitter, because of the things I like and the algorithm, whatever, they find me as a guy who likes sports and likes to bet on sports. And hey, buy my picks. I am 10-1 out of the last 11. Oh, well, that's really interesting. Why'd you pick 11? What are you the last 35? What are you the last 40? Oh, okay. Because that's more important than your 10-1 out of 11. Okay.
Damien said it's all rigged, damn it.
And my issue is if you're really that good, don't give me the 10-1. Don't give me the past. Publicly give your picks out.
Yeah.
Like once you've made your bet, you can't change the bet. You can't affect the market. You can't change anything that'll happen on that game. Once you own that ticket is yours. So once you own your tickets, publicly give them out. Now, you think you make a lot of money selling picks. If you consistently give out 60% or higher in picks, like this guy was trying to claim to me that he could do, dude, you're going to have such a social media following. You'll make millions of dollars off of advertisers and people wanting you to be an influencer for them. And you could start a podcast, start a website, and give out you can make 100 times more than you ever could selling picks. If you just openly gave your picks out publicly and people realized you were really good at this. But see, therein lies the problem. You're not. It's all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors. You're lying to people. You're taking people who are desperate for a win and you're manipulating them and you're taking advantage of them. And they have to already get to 52% just to break even. Yeah. And so now if they pay your service fee, whatever the hell it is, they have to now get over that. And I don't know what percentage you got to get to. It just depends on what their fees are. But I have a problem with people who sell picks for a living. I'm morally opposed to it, and I have no respect for them and what they do or them as a person at all.
Agreed. Let's see. Birdie said the best in the business is Vegas Runner, and he does not cap. He has groups he bets for, and he cherry picks their stuff. I've yet to see a guy that charges that's better than what I can do myself. That's 100% true. 100% true. Casey said if someone gets too famous, they will fix it against them. Well, yeah, because as soon as they make a pick, it moves the line.
No, he's talking about rigging stuff, Gary.
Oh, that's bananas. Sorry.
He's a rig guy.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Brown Yeti said the Golden Knights, my unofficial NHL team. They're looking stupid. Casey said I don't need to sell picks. I'm always over 50%. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're good at it, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Easy enough. Let's move off that. Let's talk some college basketball because, hey, it's March, and we got a tournament coming up, and there was some crazy stuff that went on last night. Look, Illinois demolished Michigan, and that was without Io. Like, that was without their best player. So, nobody saw that coming. Like, Casey brought it up at the beginning of the show. I don't know if anybody that had any money on Illinois because Michigan looked like a friggin' war machine out there.
But do you think this is the best thing that could have happened to Michigan? Like, get that bad, ugly game out of the way?
Yes. Now, this is the second one that they've had this season, but it's the first one since they came back from the COVID break. So, yeah, I think losing.
Well, I'm talking about you kind of want a game like that right before going into the tournament.
Yes, most certainly you do. Baylor beat West Virginia. Baylor back on the now. My God, I had money on West Virginia.
I told you.
I know. I was very irritated.
I told you, be careful. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what Michigan's next game is, and I don't know what the line's going to be, but I'm going to be on Michigan.
Michigan plays Michigan
taking
State.
These good teams coming off of a bad loss. I love it because they're good for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are going to respond to adversity. And you know me, I'm kind of morally opposed to betting against Huggy Bear. But I told you, be careful. Be careful.
Oh, yes. Be careful.
There's a reason they were as good as they were all year. They had a bad night, and now they're going to take it out on the next guy that tips the ball with them.
Oh, it's so crazy because, I mean, West Virginia was up by 8 late in that game, and, I mean, it took almost a damn miracle for Baylor to send this thing to overtime, and then they end up winning by 5, and, you know, it busts my plus play. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I didn't have West Virginia money line, but, yeah, I was pretty irritated. Bama won the SEC. They did that Saturday, but it swept Auburn in the three, you know, in women's basketball, men's basketball, and football for the first time since 1970. That's 43 years. That's a long time. And it wasn't 70. It's however long 43 years is. That's how long ago it's been.
So we just decided to pick those 3 sports?
Since it's the first time that it's been done in that rivalry by either side that long.
Okay.
I mean,
I just think it's strange that we just picked those 3 sports.
Well, I mean, they also beat them in gymnastics and hold on, what was the other one? Alabama has not lost to Auburn since beating them in football this year in any sport.
Your school's like 3 times big as theirs. You should beat them.
I don't think that's correct.
We'll find that out.
That's it. Go ahead and look that up. John Carter said Michigan State 2 times in a row. Illinois has Ohio State. Yeah, that's Michigan has Michigan State the next 2 times. Let's see. Brown Yeti, a gear breaks every now and then on even the best war machine. Yeah, that's 100% true. Yeah, Michigan, like they have been averaging almost 16 assists a game. Part of the reason why they are so good is because they play so well together. Illinois' defense did not allow them to do that whatsoever. Illinois' defense, like, shut them down. Completely shut them down. They only had 4 assists last night and had 11 turnovers. I mean, it was ridiculous. Georgia Tech, thick Josh Pastner, man, getting a big-time W over Coach K. I thought that was a big, big, big win for them. I think we're going to see Georgia Tech in the NCAA tournament, and I love it because Josh Pastner, like I have had personal experiences with him, and you cannot find a better dude than him. Like we are never going to forget him wearing the face mask this year. We are never going to forget him having the COVID piñata at the beginning of the season. Like he brought in a piñata that had coronavirus on it and let his players beat it to death and then threw candy at everybody like it was a 7-year-old's birthday party. Like that's what he did at Georgia Tech. They lost 2 games at the beginning of the year, lost to like Mercer and somebody else. Casey said I had Georgia Tech. I did as well. But it's Georgia Tech is a good basketball team. They lost 2 games that they absolutely should have not lost at the beginning of the season because Pastner freaked out about this coronavirus thing and did not allow them to have practices before the season. That. Like, that is insane to me. And the fact that they are this good now, like, that is mind-blowing. Michigan State got the win over Indiana. Of course, Archie Miller is in big, big, big trouble there. I think he'll probably be back next year. But Indiana's going to be looking for a new basketball coach fairly soon if he doesn't get this thing turned around. Because they're 12-13 right now. Like, Indiana is not good. Michigan State, it looks like it's going to be in the tournament, which, I mean, you talked to me a month ago, there was no prayer.
No chance.
There was no chance. The conference tournaments are going on right now. We've got Villanova and Creighton tonight. That's a big one. We're not going to talk much about the not Greg Marshall, Greg McDermott. We're not going to talk much about what happened with him, with Creighton and whatnot. Today is what, Wednesday the 3rd? So tonight, ESPN Plus, we've got the Atlantic 10, the A-Sun, and the OVC tournaments that are, I think all of them are actually tipping off tonight. So you can go and check those out. St. Joe's got a big win earlier today. Casey said I had Pitt minus 7-2. Knew that was gold. I did not touch the Pitt line, but they did handle Wake Forest. Yeah, lots of stuff going on with college basketball, and it's going to be going on every single day from now through, the end of March, really. I mean, I am so excited about this time of year. We will have the WCE bracket pool going on next week. I will have that link out. I'll put it in the notes for the podcast, the notes for YouTube, on the Facebook, on our Twitters, et cetera, et cetera. So all of you that would like to be involved, you can jump in over there. Chris, are you excited? You excited about this?
Yeah.
You got to play on Creighton and Villanova tonight?
No.
I'm not touching either one of those teams. Villanova just got done losing at Butler, and while I would like to think that they will bounce back in this game, I also know that Creighton could be fired up over what happened last week, or maybe they won't be. I don't know. I have no idea. Casey said, I'm leaning Creighton money line, but this could go either way. Well, Creighton already beat Villanova once this year, and they kind of handled them pretty easy. I would imagine, revenge game, or maybe Creighton. I don't know. I'm staying away from it. I think it's going to be a fun basketball game. Moving on from there, let's go to the NFL right quick. Kyle Rudolph is no longer a Minnesota Viking. And reports are that he wants to go be a New England Patriot. Do you think that he has an idea of who the next quarterback is going to be for the Patriots?
No, I think he just wants to go play with Bill, and he thinks that, I don't know, they run a very tight end friendly offense. I mean, I kind of find this to be very strange. Bill doesn't usually take older players.
Agreed.
Like this is not going and getting Randy Moss.
Well,
Randy Moss still had, prime years left.
It hasn't been reported that the New England Patriots want him. It's been reported that he wants them.
That's right. No, that's what I'm saying. And I've seen a bunch of I follow a bunch of New England blogs on Twitter and stuff, and so many of them are like, oh, he would fit perfect in office. I'm like, really? Have you seen it? Like, I like Rudolph. I like Rudolph a lot. Okay. Well, I liked the player he used to be. I don't know, man. I don't know that he's got any game left, you know?
Well, I mean, we're a year removed from him catching the game-winning pass in the playoffs down in New Orleans. But
okay, do you want to know? All right, so how many touchdowns do you think he had that year? Let's see this.
I'd imagine probably not that many. I will say this: before that season, when Gronk had retired, he was my first pick for you guys to go and pick up. I thought that you would go and get him from Minnesota to pair with Tom Brady.
In 2019,
yep,
he had 6 touchdowns.
Whew.
2018, he had 4.
Yeah, that's not so much. That is
last
not so much.
Last year, he had 1.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy.
So I don't know.
We talk about him being long in the tooth. He's only 31, but he's been in the NFL for 10 years. So
yeah, he's been in the NFL for 10 years. It's not. I don't care about your age. I care about your ability.
Casey said, "Would you rather have Rudolph or draft a guy like Brevins or Yeboah?" That's the kid from Ole Miss.
I'd rather take the rookie.
I'd rather take the rookie.
I'll take the rookie.
Damian said Kyle Rudolph is another Cam Newton, just less of a diva. Casey said Kenny Yeboah going to be a steal. He had 2/3 of Pitt's yards on half the targets. He was playing with dislocated fingers. Come on, Chiefs would be perfect tight end too behind Kelsey. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, Yeboah is going to be. I think he's going to be good.
Yeah, I do too.
But Rudolph, I mean, 10 years, long time. He's more of a blocking tight end than he is a pass-catching tight end. But, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see him with Bill. I think he'd be another offensive lineman.
Yeah, but they need skill weapons. They need guys that can go out and catch the football. They need athletic dudes that can catch the football.
You mean like Yeboah?
Well, yeah. That's why I said younger. I'd take Yeboah. I'd take any rookie over. I will take the upside of anybody that's unknown and unproven but young and athletic over a guy who I know he might catch 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, and we'll close out with this. J.J. Watt. He is headed to Arizona, and upon arriving in Arizona, he wanted to wear number 99, and they have allowed him to do so. The guy that they are, what's his name? Marshall Goldberg?
Marshall Goldberg. He's from when they were the Chicago Cardinals.
Yeah, so nobody has
many years ago.
Nobody has worn number 99 for the Cardinals since 1950.
Yes.
Tell me your thoughts on this, because I know that you have some.
I'm not a fan of this. I don't really care how it came down. I'm sure he wasn't an asshole about it. I'm sure he was very nice, or it might have even been offered to him. Why do we retire things if we're just going to let somebody else have them?
I agree.
Like, retiring a number is supposed to be important. It's supposed to matter. Okay.
Like, what is different about J.J. Watt coming in and wearing this number 71 years later? Why? Like, you're telling me that there was not a single player as good as J.J. Watt that could have come in and worn that number? I mean, yeah. What's wrong with him wearing 98 or 97?
Yeah, or any other number out there. My issue and my problem is we retire these things for a reason. Okay, this person was important to the sport. If somebody came in and wanted Pat Tillman, we would all lose our shit.
Yeah.
But because this guy's number was retired 50 years ago and we don't know, nobody alive knows anything about him or cared. Like, it's hard to say, well, I'll just let JJ have it. It's no big deal. And I'll be consistent here. Okay. The family of whoever the retiree was who owned 18 in Denver when Peyton Manning went there, the family approached Peyton and said, if you want 18, we will commission the Broncos to unretire the number for you. that's very nice of them. It's a very nice gesture of them. I don't think you should take that. I don't think you should take that gesture. I think you should change your damn number because it's a number. Okay. And the person that wore it before you, whatever accomplishment they did to get it retired, I think that matters. And I think that's important.
I agree with you 100%. A number is a number. The name is what we're going to remember. Yeah. I'll tell you this. I can't remember off the top of my head what Jerry Rice's number was. Like, I don't remember. But.
Wow. I can't either. As soon as you said that, I don't know.
Because the name matters.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even realize that J.J. Watt had worn 99 since he was at Wisconsin. Because it doesn't matter.
That's fine. That's fine. Congratulations. You've had the same number your entire career. If you
wanted
to
not
keep
his entire
99,
career. Like, because he wore like 82 or something when he was a tight end at Central Michigan before he transferred.
Oh, well, then there you go.
So it doesn't matter. It's a number.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think I'm not okay with it whatsoever. And I think even if the organization or the family of the person whose number you're retired, or if that person's still alive, if they call you and say, I would be honored for you to wear my number, I think that's what they're supposed to say if you're a star. And I think your response is supposed to be, nah, thank you, but I'll change my number. It's like when you were little and your dad drove you around somewhere and you were going somewhere as a family and your mom said, you like, I want the front seat. It's back when little kids could ride the front seat. And like your mom said, oh, okay, you can have it. Like, no, you get your ass in the back seat. Like she's supposed to say you can have it and you're supposed to decline.
Yes.
Because that's what's going to happen. All right. Like that's how the world works. Okay.
Yes. It is nice of them to offer. But that does not mean that you have to accept. Very nice of them to offer.
I think you should decline. You have nothing in you that's Arizona tradition. Like if you were born and bred in Arizona, all right, and you grew up a Cardinals fan, and we've got pictures of you like wearing 99 as a little boy in Cardinals gear. Like I almost would maybe forgive it. You're a mercenary. That's what you are. You're a guy that's being paid with no connection to this organization whatsoever. That's being paid strictly to come in and try to play football
for 2 years.
For 2 years. For 2 years. That's at the very end of your career, by the way. So what are we? So we're giving up retired numbers for mercenaries?
That's insane to me.
I don't like it.
I don't either.
Don't like it at all. And I think the right thing to do. Peyton Manning should have done it, and he should do it. They should thank you for the offer. I'm going to decline, and I'll find another number.
Yes, I agree. All right, I think that's going to wrap us up for today. You got anything else we need to hit?
No, we're fine.
Let's do this thing. All right, you guys that jumped in today, we certainly appreciate all of you for actually watching and paying attention and jumping into the chat for sure. Damian, Casey, the Brown Yeti, Matt Miller, all of you guys that jump in all the time, we appreciate you. Taylor as well, all you guys. Damian, you guys help make the show what it is, and we cannot tell you how much we thank you for that. So, everybody else, go over to winningcureseverything.com. If you ever want to be a part of the show, you can always jump in on the live shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Go and check that thing out. If you missed the live show, you can grab the podcast at any of your favorite podcast apps. Make sure, if you do that, leave us a nice 5-star review over on Apple. That would certainly help us out. Taylor lets us know. Be sure and check out SBR for the NCAA football show. Yes, our off-season Week 7 show is up over there. If you want to go over there, help us out. Let us know who you think should be the cover athlete for EA Sports College Football. We would like to hear your opinion on that, along with we got some FCS games this weekend, some big games. So go and check it out. Let us know what your picks are for those as well. You can find it on YouTube. Search SBR Picks over there. Make sure you are subscribed to that channel and like the video. You can like this video as well. Or you can just find it over at sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. I think that's going to do it. All right. You guys have been fantastic. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And hopefully we can all cash some tickets this week. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review.